Thanks for joining us here on Wink News this morning on WXCW. There's another hour yet to come, and Wink News anchors Teresa O'Shea and Sean Kreisman ready to continue our coverage. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Rob. That's right. The final debate before the Iowa caucuses is in the books. How did the candidates do without the focus being on Donald Trump?
And we're getting some stats back on last weekend's blizzard. It was a very powerful one, as you know. We'll share the details coming up on Wink News this morning.
Live from Southwest Florida's news leader, this is Wink News this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us for the 9 o'clock hour of Wink News this morning on WXCW. I'm Teresa O'Shea.
And I'm Sean Kreisman. A lot to get to in the next hour. But first, some of the best video and sound from overnight and this morning in the Wink News Eye Opener.
Let's address the elephant not in the room tonight.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Republicans have squared off on the issues and taken shots at Donald Trump because he was not there for their last debate before the Iowa caucuses.
Gosh, if you guys ask one more mean question, I may have to leave the stage.
He's an entertaining guy. He's the greatest show on earth.
I kind of miss Donald Trump. He was a little teddy bear to me.
Also in Iowa, Donald Trump putting on an event he says honors veterans.
Look at all the cameras, like the Academy Awards. This is like the Academy Awards.
We need to get some answers quickly.
The Zika virus, which is linked to children being born with small heads, poses several challenges right now.
Sooner or later, we're going to see a local transmission.
We believe there are 4 people who still occupy the refuge at this time.
The leader of the group that took over the federal wildlife refuge in Oregon, Ammon Bundy, along with several of the other so-called militiamen, are expected in court today.
Today, memorial services for one of Southwest Florida's civil rights icons will begin. Veronica Shoemaker passed away last week at the age of 86.
Today, the releases from Lake Okeechobee start back up. The releases have caused some major controversy for years because often they can turn the Southwest Florida water along our coast dark and murky.
Tonight, the leading Republican faces off against arguably his greatest opponent, himself. Donald against Trump, or as they're known by their celebrity couple name, Dump. Gentlemen. Gentlemen, you know the rules. You say the first thing that comes into your mind, and no matter what it is, your poll numbers go up.
And that's your Wink News this morning Eye Opener.
Well, you saw in that little time lapse, those high clouds are with us as we watch the sun rise to 60s today. When I come back, we'll have that full weekend forecast.
Well, with just days to go into the first, votes are cast in the 2016 presidential election. The candidates hit the campaign trail in Iowa today to make their closing arguments to voters there.
And for the Republicans, the final pitch started last night in the GOP's 7th debate. But as Week News reporter Marley Hall reports from Des Moines, the event was dominated by one candidate, not even on stage.
With Trump absent, his biggest rival, Ted Cruz, took center stage, becoming the target of the night. Marley Hall, CBS News, Des Moines, Iowa.
In the final hours, a spokesman for Fox says Trump offered to appear at the debate only if the network contributed $5 million to his charities, which they refused. $1 million of the money raised from the vets came from Trump himself.
Meanwhile, President Obama gives his prediction about who will win the November election. The president says Democrats will stay in the White House, and it's going to take more than, quote, phony tough talk and bluster to defeat ISIS. President Obama even took a shot at GOP frontrunner Donald Trump, saying the country won't strengthen itself by allowing politicians to insult Muslims or pit groups of Americans against each other. Right now, the Obama administration is expanding a data collection program. This one's aimed to uncover abuses of equal pay laws. The new proposal will cover all businesses with 100 or more employees, regardless of whether they contract with the government. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission will collect the data.
The Florida House will soon vote on 3 bills that passed in the Senate. One bill will expand the stand your ground law to place more of a burden on prosecutors to prove self-defense was not a factor. Another bill outlaws firing a gun in a densely populated area. The other gives judges more options when sentencing for gun offenses besides the 10-20 life law. Well, the Zika virus is now spreading explosively in the Americas.
And that is what the head of the World Health Organization says, with another official estimating between 3 and 4 million infections in the region over a 12-month period. Week News reporter Stephanie Susskind, she joins us with the very latest. Stephanie.
Well, the Zika virus is linked to babies being born with small heads, and it poses several challenges right now. Diagnostic tests are imperfect, there's no treatment, and there's no vaccine. There's concern mosquitoes in the U.S. will eventually carry the virus. virus. Dr. Anthony Fauci, head of the infectious diseases branch of the NIH, says the outbreak is a pandemic. He says controlling mosquitoes that could carry Zika is key, and the U.S. has one big advantage because most of the country goes through a winter season. There still are some big concerns, though.
If you have this much Zika in South America and in the Caribbean, sooner or later we're going to see a local transmission.
Now, the World Health Organization will have an emergency meeting on Monday to plan its response to all of this. Sean, back to you.
All right, Stephanie, we'll keep an eye on this one. Now this morning, Collier County deputies are stepping up patrols in one community after a little girl was held at knife point on her way to school. We'll show you where it happened. This was in Whistler's Cove there off 41. The victim says the man attacked her from behind. He held a steak knife to her throat. Thankfully, another woman spotted this whole thing. The guy eventually ran off. If you do know who he is, you're asked to call the Collier County Sheriff's Office. The White Chicago police officer accused of shooting a black teenager 16 times and is expected in court today. Jason Van Dyke, he's expected to appear for a status hearing. He has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder in the death of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald. City officials released dashcam video of the 2014 shooting back in November. That footage showed McDonald veering away from officers as Van Dyke opened fire.
And new this morning, we're getting some new numbers on last weekend's blizzard. It is officially the fourth most powerful snowstorm to hit the Northeast in more than 60 years. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration ranked the storm on a scale that considers inches of snowfall, geographic reach, and the number of people affected. The agency says that storm affected 102.8 million people and covered about 434,000 square miles in 26 states. The scale does not take into account other misery metrics such as storm-related deaths, flight cancellations, and power outages. At least 52 people in 11 states and in the District of Columbia died in storm-related incidents. NOAA's Regional Snowfall Index classifies Jonas as a Category 4 storm or a crippling event. That makes it the sixth strongest snowstorm since the year 1900. Washington, D.C. enacted a parking ban when the big snowstorm hit so that snowplows could get through the streets. Since then, the city has handed out more than $1 million in fines. D.C. declared a snow emergency last Friday. The Washington Post reports as of Wednesday afternoon, the city has issued more than 5,000 tickets. Each of those cost the owner $250. The city also towed nearly 700 vehicles. And not counting the towing fees, the fines totaled just over $1.3 million. That was an expensive storm. Now, the White House just released this time-lapse video of Jonas rolling in. This is from the south lawn of the White House. Look at that. You can see the camera gets covered a few times, but the wind does eventually clear the lens, like right there. After the snow clouds disappear, it's a pretty beautiful sight. Makes the White House even wider on the lawn there.
Starting today, Southwest Florida will say goodbye to a civil rights icon, Veronica Shoemaker. She passed away exactly a week ago at the age of 86. She was the first African-American city council member in Fort Myers history. Public viewing will be held tonight from 6 to 8 at Mount Olive AME Church near downtown Fort Myers. Her funeral will be tomorrow at noon. This will be at the Harborside Events Center in downtown. Of course, you can count on Week News for coverage of both events. Okay, now to follow up on an exciting news in the fight against hunger right here in Southwest Florida.
Well, we got updated numbers from the Week News Feeds Families Hunger Walk from earlier this month. Now, thanks to your generosity, we collected $305,000 for the Harry Chapin Food Bank. That organization will now take your donations and turn them into more than $1.8 million worth of food for struggling families in our area, because they can turn every dollar into $6. So it's really amazing to see how far those hundreds of thousands of dollars go to feed families here in South Florida.
I was going to see if you're going to do the math real quick.
I cannot. They did it for me. The producers did it for me, so thank you, producers. Great news there. We're a little more than a week away now from Super Bowl 50, and the grounds crew at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California is getting the field and the stadium ready for the big game.
They are, but it seems like the crew may have a bad memory. Watch this. All of the shots of the field there, we've only seen the Broncos end zone. But look closely right there. The empty end zone still has a hint of the Broncos paint. They painted both end zones with the Broncos logo and colors already. A harmless mistake, of course. We all make them, but definitely something you don't want to have to do more than once. Panthers are saying, Panthers fans, you had one job.
Just put our names on the field. Man, you got to think
never
that
know,
requires a lot of work. Maybe a good omen for the Broncos?
I was going to say, is it a telling
not?
to
I don't. We'll see.
All right, coming up on Week News this morning, things just keep getting worse in Michigan. In the middle of a terrible water crisis in suburban Detroit, now there's unrest among public school teachers. Find out why. We'll have the answer later in the newscast.
Plus, in its apparent quest to be involved in every aspect of your life, Facebook is looking into an Uber-like ride-sharing service. We'll have the details ahead in the Week News Money Watch. Scott?
And we should see a little more sunshine across Southwest Florida today. The cold front to our south, a northwesterly breeze bringing in some cooler weather. You can see the clouds. Seeing some sunshine, though, in DeSoto, Highlands County, as well as Charlotte County. I'll let you know if those clouds clear and we see more sunshine today and into the weekend when I come back.
All right, welcome back to Wake News this morning on WXCW. How about this video? Check this out. Spanish paraglider Horatio Lorenz battled sub-0 degree temperatures in Norway for this amazing experience. Fitted with a wetsuit and battery-heated gloves, he paired up his paramotor and launched himself from the ground into an amazing night flight with the Aurora Borealis. Red Bull posted this onto their YouTube channel. It has Scott all choked up this morning.
That's not why I'm coughing.
Scott,
it's just so beautiful.
We talk so much from 4:30 on to this point.
That's
really
pretty cool.
Losing my voice. It's tomorrow morning.
Well, you know, it does feel great to help others, but a chance to help others while enjoying delicious wine and cheese at the same time, that could be even better.
And this weekend, hundreds of people are getting together to raise money for those in need. So where's Wink now? Wake News reporter John Treeweiler has the answer. Good morning, John.
Trace and Sean, good morning to you. We're still out here at the Tiburon Ritz-Carlton Golf Resort in Naples. Kicking off day one, Naples Winter Wine Festival. A couple of the honored chefs with me now. Of course, it all helps the children. Lots of fun out here at the Naples Winter Wine Festival. We're so happy that it's back here in Naples, guys.
It's pretty awesome, Tree. They raise so much money for children, and it all stays right here in Southwest Florida. About $12 million last year alone in one weekend.
That's huge, and it's a great time as well. Plus, there's a big auction happening too.
Yeah,
Is there a Ferrari and a Rolls
We
Royce?
saw those earlier. You have to go to winknews.com to check those out because it's reason enough just to check it out for sure.
Unbelievable.
All right, time now is 9:21 on your Friday morning. We'll get a check of what's going on coming up here in just a few minutes.
And we'll never be royals. It's a run in our blood. That kind of luck's just ain't for us. We crave a different kind.
All right, welcome back to Week News this morning on WXCW. A huge breakthrough in artificial intelligence. Google's DeepMind program has defeated a Go champion. Go, that's an ancient Chinese board game.
Now, when a computer plays a human in a game, it looks at every single possible move to calculate the best play. But that's not possible with Go. The goal is to surround more territory on the board than your opponent. But there are more possible positions than there are atoms in the universe. So the artificial intelligence must find a balance between recognizing the important moves, but also just playing smart without knowing all outcomes. It's sort of like our intuition. Google's system called AlphaGo took on the current European Go champion and beat him 5 times in a row.
Now, is this the sort of thing that puts a little fear into Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk? Well, here's what he thinks of artificial intelligence.
It's something I think we should be concerned about, because that may or may not turn out well. Even in the benign scenario where if AI is much smarter than a person, what do we do?
Yeah.
What job do we have?
Musk's negative views on artificial intelligence are shared by theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking and Microsoft mogul Bill Gates. All right, YouTube making it easy for everyone to raise money for nonprofits with a new donation card. They're a simple add-on to your YouTube videos that allow anyone watching to donate to an organization directly from a video. All you do is add the card to your videos and choose the organization you want to donate to. All viewers have to do is click on the card, fill it out. Get this, Google covers the processing fee, so the organization that you put on there receives 100% of the money donated.
Several new movies hit the Cineplex this weekend, and one is a clear favorite to lead the weekend box office.
Yeah, the other could take second and dethrone The Revenant and Star Wars for the first and second. First up, The Finest Hours. This one starring Chris Pine and Casey Affleck. It's based on the true story of a dramatic Coast Guard rescue mission, expected to make about $10 million. Now, Rotten Tomatoes has it as a pretty mediocre film with 57% critic rating and a 64% audience rating.
50 Shades of Black is the latest big screen parody starring Marlon Wayans. It also is projected to make around $10 million. It doesn't have a Rotten Tomatoes score just yet, but there is one very big difference between this film and The Finest House. Shades cost about $5 million to make. The Finest Hours cost $70 million.
Yeah, a little bit of a difference.
A little bit.
And the big film that's a shoe-in for the top box office spot is Kung Fu Panda 3. Featuring the voices of Jack Black and Angelina Jolie, it is the first family film to hit theaters in weeks. It's expected to dominate the weekend, debuting with $40 million or more.
That's a good one for the families, at least. Meanwhile, one more new film, the Natalie Portman Western Jane Got a Gun, opens in moderate release this weekend and will be lucky to crack a top 10 at the box office. So it's not in all theaters.
Yeah, a couple of good films out this weekend. Good way to spend it. All right, Week News is back in less than 3 minutes. We're live on the floor at the New York Stock Exchange.
You're watching Week News this morning, Southwest Florida's news leader. Time now is 9:27.
All right, welcome back. It is 9:30 at the New York Stock Exchange. Opening bell just rang.
Let's check in with Week News Money Watch reporter Jill Wagner. She's live at the Stock Exchange with our business and consumer news. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning, Sean and Trace. I can tell you it is a busy morning here on the floor of the Stock Exchange. A lot of earnings are coming out, so we've got a bit of a crowd here behind me. Okay, the U.S. economy slowed down at the end of last year. The government says the GDP in the fourth quarter grew at a measly 0.7%, so that will likely fuel concern. The U.S. is heading to a recession. Investors, though, don't seem too concerned. The Dow is up by 55 points, so a pretty good start to the trading day on this last trading day of January. Ever wonder why it is just so difficult to get affordable tickets to concerts and sporting events? Well, New York's Attorney General says the system is rigged. A 3-year investigation from his office found half of the tickets to events are set aside for industry insiders and promoters. They are unavailable to the public. Brokers then resell tickets on sites like StubHub for more than face value. Not cool, brokers, I gotta say, Sean and Therese.
All right, Jill, Facebook's earnings just came in way above expectations, and now we hear they could be taking on Uber, the ride-sharing service.
Yes, the next time you RSVP to an event on Facebook, you could also coordinate how you're going to get there. So Facebook filed a patent. It outlines a way for users to set up carpools for people who are going to the same party. Sean and Trace.
It's convenient.
Jill, if we're going to the same party here, I got to tell you, you look different today in a great way. I mean that in a very nice way. What'd you do differently?
She looks angelic.
It's a little blonde that I got going on.
Oh, there you go.
I went a little blonder.
I like it.
Wow, Sean, man points for noticing a girl's hair color being different.
I'm so impressed.
I know. I see you
Sean.
every day. You don't notice when mine's
appreciate
different.
that.
Thank you, Jill. I noticed. Love it.
All right, Jill, thank you for the info.
That's going to set me off to a very good start to the weekend.
Look at that.
See? There you go. Look at
Breaking
there.
hearts,
Always
President.
need encouragement.
All right, Jill
Clearly,
Wagner.
the way to my heart is a little compliment, right?
Exactly.
There you go.
And my hair, well, you can comment about my hair anytime, too. Feel free to go ahead.
You know, you guys, the problem is I can't see you guys.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true.
You
can fake
We'll
it.
have him text you.
But
How
I'll
we
look
can
for you
set
on
that
Twitter.
up. All right, Jill. Thank you. We'll check back in with you on Monday
getting
live at
wrapped.
the New York Stock Exchange. All right, Scott, let's check in with you.
Yes, let's go there. Let's go to the weather. Sean, you got great hair, by the way, buddy. There you go. There's your compliment for the day. Satellite radar together, we're looking at that stream of high mid-level cloud cover continuing to move in across the area, and that's going to be with us. That cold front now to our south, no rain. These aren't rain-producing clouds, but that cooler weather definitely in place. There's our live sky cam. Notice some of the blue breaking away from some of those clouds, so we are trying to get some sunshine across the area. I think we're going to be hard-pressed to see some sunshine, especially south of Collier County or south of Lee County into Collier County. You can see right now, there's our live sky cam from Punta Rassa. Temperatures right now in the 50s. When I come back, we'll try to find some sunshine, and we'll let you know that weekend forecast coming up.
All right, the investigation into the jailbreak at Orange County, California's largest lockup, has led to the arrests of at least 5 people. One of the suspects works at a prison as a teacher, rather.
Authorities suspect she helped the 3 escapees get away. Week News anchor Rob Spicker, he joins us live in the studio with new details. Rob.
Well, Sean, Therese Nujafarin Ravagi taught the English classes at this Southern California jail, and now authorities do believe she helped the 3 inmates, including an alleged killer, escape their lockup. In a kind of elaborate escape, they cut their way through steel bars, climbed through some plumbing tunnels, made their way out onto the roof, cut razor wire, and, using rope made out of braided sheets, rappelled 4 stories to freedom from the roof of the Orange County Central Men's Jail. The escape January 22nd was unnoticed for 16 hours. Now the men are all believed to be riding around in a stolen van. Ravagi had worked at the jail since 2014 as a part-time teacher in a program that was operated by the Rancho Santiago Community College District.
She has worked at the Central Men's Jail since approximately July of 2015. We have confirmed that Nayeri did in fact attend several of Ravagi's ESL classes. However, we continue to investigate the extent of their relationship.
Investigators are looking into whether or not Ravagi brought tools into the jail for Nayeri, one of the inmates, to escape, and the others. But it's believed she did provide them with things like Google Maps in preparation for their escape. Right now, investigators saying Ravagi is denying all the claims. Sean, over to you.
All right, Rob, thanks so much. The teenager who used the affluenza defense at a deadly drunken driving wreck is back here in the United States this morning. Booked in a Texas juvenile detention center today, Ethan Couch will appear in court where a judge could decide to move him to an adult jail. He was deported Thursday, more than a month after he and his mother fled to the U.S. Couch will appear in court again next month, where a judge will decide whether he will be charged as an adult.
New information this morning as the European Union reveals a new proposal to fight tax evasion by big companies. The deal includes closing common tax loopholes companies often exploit and improving the way tax information is shared throughout the 28-member nation. $54 to $76 billion is lost every year in Europe due to tax evasion. New this morning, at least 145 students and staff members at a Southeast Texas middle school are receiving medical treatment after an apparent carbon monoxide leak. Beaumont Fire Rescue officials say paramedics were called to Marshall Middle School after a student lost consciousness. Numerous students and faculty reported symptoms, including nausea and headaches.
Detroit teachers and parents say a lawsuit is the only option left after weeks of protests over dilapidated buildings and classrooms. Teachers claim there is mold, maggots in the bathroom, and mice inside the classrooms. The lawsuit demands repairs and the removal of Darnell Early. That's the governor-appointed school's emergency manager. Last year, he went from being the emergency manager of Flint, which now is having a water crisis, to managing Detroit's school system, which is $500 million in debt.
Educators have been snubbed, ignored, disrespected, and punished when they inform the school district of specific safety and health problems.
The public school system will be served the papers today. It will have 28 days to respond. Until then, teachers have not ruled out the possibility of more protests.
Coming up here on Week News this morning, taking a bullet for science, why a theoretical physicist turns into a daredevil to explain the properties of water.
Plus, Australia is turning to smartphone apps to address its growing homeless problem. That full story is just ahead. It's 9:37. You're watching Week News this morning.
Social workers and volunteers, and Malcolm Turnbull hopes it will get support services working along the right lines.
Pretty neat to see there, right?
Yeah, technology is changing the way everything works and helping out in a lot of great situations.
We can monitor that right here.
Right after the break, get your most accurate weather forecast with Week News meteorologist Scott Zedeker.
Plus the Week News Flash, all today's headlines and more. You're watching Week News this morning on WXCW.
I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough.
That's pretty cool.
Did anyone just hear my squeal? I hope that
Very
didn't come over the
exciting
microphone.
time here the week.
The mic was cut.
Good.
Two
You guys
eaglets.
had to hear it. That is so exciting. That's E7 and E8. Harriet's Eagles on our live Southwest Florida Eagle Cam. This is live right now. You're checking out these cute little guys.
Breakfast time.
How exciting is that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. They're so
cute.
active.
I know.
Look at them go.
They're chipper. They're happy to be in the world.
You know what they're happy about? finally
sunshine.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
what
it's
is
not
that
raining.
warmth? It's been so wet for days. Why is our nest not wet? It's
They're
good
drying
news.
out. Absolutely drying out. With the feathers, they stay warm
Yeah,
because
rough
it
one.
is kind of chilly out there. Temperatures in the 50s right now. Next chance of rain looks like Monday. Better chance on Thursday.
All right, it's time for the Week News Flash. All today's headlines from the world of news, sports, entertainment, and more.
We start with a look at this morning's top stories. Republicans took the stage just days before the Iowa caucus to convince voters they are the right choice for president. Even though the Republican frontrunner Donald Trump didn't participate, he still dominated part of the debate. Trump held his own event to honor veterans just across town in Des Moines. The caucuses, which are the first major political contests of the election season, will take place on Monday.
The World Health Organization estimates there will be 3 to 4 million cases of Zika virus in the Americas in the next year. The illness is rapidly sweeping through Central and South America, and now fear about the virus is spreading to the U.S. There are no treatments or vaccines for Zika, but officials say clinical trials on a vaccine could begin this year. The World Health Organization will convene an emergency meeting that is on Monday to plan its response.
Last weekend's blizzard is now officially the fourth most powerful snowstorm to hit the Northeast in more than 60 years. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says the storm affected 102.8 million people and covered about 434,000 square miles in 26 states. At least 52 people in 11 states and the District of Columbia died in storm-related incidents. NOAA's Regional Snowfall Index classifies Jonas as a Category 4 storm or a crippling event that makes it the sixth strongest snowstorm since 1900.
Today, Southwest Florida will honor the life of civil rights icon Veronica Shoemaker. She was the first African-American city council member in Fort Myers history. A public viewing will be held tonight from 6 to 8 at Mount Olive AME Church near downtown Fort Myers. Her funeral will be Saturday at noon. This will be at the Harborside Events Center downtown. Of course, you can count on Week News for coverage on both events. Now in the Week News Flash, stories that are new right now off the Wink wires. There is more ice on the surface of Pluto than scientists first thought.
These scans were taken by NASA's New Horizons spacecraft. The spacecraft flew past Pluto and captured new data. A new map of the dwarf planet was made with that data. It shows exposed water ice is abundant on Pluto's surface. Water ice is, in fact, the bedrock of Pluto's crust. And in some areas, Pluto's icy bedrock is well hidden beneath a thick blanket of other ices, such as methane, nitrogen, and carbon monoxide.
The finals of the Australian Open will pit the #1 and #2 ranked players in the world against each other. #2 Andy Murray beat Milos Raonic in a grueling 4-hour match. Murray will face 5-time champion Novak Djokovic in the finals. Murray has lost all 4 previous Australian Open finals. 3 of Djokovic's wins in Australia have come against Murray. Nissan recalling thousands of Altimas to fix a latch problem for the 3rd time. The latest recall covers 846,000 cars from model years 2013 to 2015. Documents say the latch could let the hood fly open while the cars are moving. Nissan will notify owners and replace the latch for free. This is going to start mid-February.
The ride-sharing service Uber is dropping fares in New York City by 15%. Uber says the rate cuts are a result of seasonality in the city because less people visit after the holidays and residents leave for vacation in the summer. Uber and its competitor Lyft have been cutting prices across the country this winter in something of a price war, but Uber is the first to cut rates in New York. Those new prices go into effect on Friday. All right, turning to entertainment headlines in the Wink News Flash. Break out the orange soda and the green slime and get ready for some full-on 90s nostalgia. Deadline is reporting a movie featuring the hit Nicktoons of Nickelodeon is in development. That means the characters from Rugrats, Rocko's Modern Life, All Real Monsters, The Angry Beavers, and Rocket Power will all mash into one movie. Wonder how they're going to do that. Deadline reports it's simply titled Nicktoons and will be directed by Napoleon Dynamite's Jared Hess. No plot details yet, just that the movie is in the works. So for the kids still in all of us. NBC, meanwhile, hopes to boost its ratings for its popular show Celebrity Apprentice with some big names in business. Warren Buffett, the 3rd richest man in the world, according to Forbes, is joining new host Arnold Schwarzenegger in the boardroom. Other celebrities include actress Jessica Alba and former model Tyra Banks, as well as Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer. They'll all be advisors on the show. As for the apprentices, there are 15 of them. Some of the bigger names include Layla Ali, Snooki, Boy George, John Lovitz, Vince Neil, and Ricky Williams. Now, Leonardo DiCaprio had a big meeting with Pope Francis at the Vatican. The two share a common interest in saving the environment. According to Vatican Radio, DiCaprio gave the pontiff a book of art from a Dutch Renaissance painter. At the end of the meeting, DiCaprio kissed the Pope's ring and, speaking in Italian, thanked him for meeting with him. The Oscars have announced the first list of presenters at this year's Academy Awards ceremony. Those names include Whoopi Goldberg, Benicio del Toro, Tina Fey, and Kevin Hart. Artists will be performing during the show include Lady Gaga and Sam Smith. The 88th Annual Academy Awards will be hosted by Chris Rock and handed out on February 8th.
All right, making sports headlines. All 7 named Pro Bowlers from the New England Patriots are skipping it. Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Jamie Collins, Chandler Jones, Malcolm Butler, Steven Gostkowski, and Matthew Slater all opting out of Sunday's game due to injuries. Of course, had they won against the Broncos last weekend, we're pretty sure those 7 players would have found a way to play through their injuries for Super Bowl 50. Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce just spent the past 5 months hanging out with 52 guys, so he's changing it up a little for the offseason. Deadline is reporting Kelce will star in a reality dating series on the E! Network. This will be called Catching Kelce, 50 women vying for the NFL player's heart. The ladies will get to vote on who goes on group dates with Kelce, so that should be pretty interesting. The show will premiere later this year.
Interesting.
Yeah, the NHL and GoPro have announced an extended partnership for the 2016 season. This year's 11-part series features some new but familiar faces and will give hockey fans an immersive look at what happens on the ice during late-night training sessions. New episodes of NHL After Dark will be released every Wednesday for the remainder of the season, starting next Wednesday on GoPro's YouTube channel and NHL.com. Episode 1 will feature Tomas Tatar of the Detroit Red Wings. The Sun Devils of Arizona State are having a pretty good season. They're 12-9, but it's their student section and the so-called curtain of distraction that is making SportsCenter. It's a bit used to try and get the opposing team to miss a free throw, and look who was behind it just last night. Yeah, the most decorated Olympian of all time, Michael Phelps. If that's not distracting, right? The gold medal swimmer lives in the temp these days. Clearly, it's effective. Oregon State missed both foul shots.
I would believe it. Look at him. He comes out.
I think I would just put the ball down and be like, what's up, man? You know, like, can I get a selfie?
Shake his hand,
right?
yeah.
All right, trending now in the news flash, a daredevil physicist. Not 2 words you would normally hear, but look at what this guy did.
Yeah, check this out. Andreas Wall put himself in front of a weapon submerged in water, and then he fired it at himself. The gun is aimed at his midsection. Now, slow motion footage you see right here, taken from the side, gives a complete view of the action and how the bullet struggles to cut through the liquid. An explanation from the video says it's harder to create movement in water than in air because water molecules are closer together than air molecules. But despite supporting science, please do not try this at home, and he appears to be okay.
Is he all right?
I believe so.
Brad, do we know what happened to this guy?
He looks relieved right there.
He didn't get hit, okay.
That's good. Phew.
You watch this stuff in the movies, they get hit. They shoot the things, Rambo's in there shooting water.
Yeah, no, again, don't try this at home, folks. You're watching Big News This Morning here on WXCW.
And we are back in less than 3 minutes with a look at your forecast. It is 9:56. You're watching Big News This Morning.